And we're back with another episode of Let's Play Lost Odyssey. I'm your host, RPG Guy. I've been away for a little while, so I was just reviewing what my characters needed to work on to realize that we're actually pretty well off. Sarah is still learning necessary skills. She's still got some, unlearned skills here, but none of them are outright necessary. Everything she needs to learn that is a necessity is learned. So I'm not worried about that. She's also mastered all of the strongest available magic types. So black magic level 7, white magic level 8, and spirit magic level 8. So that's all squared away as well. As far as what we need her to be able to do, it's all pretty much there for the time being. And we're ready to move on. Now, she's still, 4 to 5 levels behind everyone else, and technically Seth is got left out a lot too, because of what we needed to progress the story, progress the game, and not progress the story, but to progress the party, and the fact we can't take Kime out. So we had to take someone out, so Seth was the number one person to take in and out of the party. It took about maybe an hour and a half or so to get her that far along. It didn't take as long as it felt. It might have actually been longer, and it just didn't feel that way. Because we weren't having too much non-success. So, but we are going to keep her in the party for quite a while, I would say, to get her caught up in levels, which is going to be very awkward and hard to do. Because our characters are, for lack of a better term, you might argue, over-leveled. Which is not wrong necessarily. What is interesting though is that the game will scale very quickly, and the fact that we're this many X amount of levels higher is actually going to become irrelevant rather soon. And you'll see as we progress through the game here. Waifu! May the powers of waifu help you. Waifu. And we enter the Black Cave. Which is really just a big one-room maze. And then I think the other rooms are a little bit more intricate, but meh. Alright, let's keep moving. So let's move here. I'm gonna be interrupted. Kids, who wants to see a dead body?
Oh, don't worry. Nothing will happen. It's okay.
What is this? Goats and soldiers?
Were they coming to recruit men from the village?
I imagine so. Huh?
Hey, wait a minute. I thought you said the cave critters would leave us alone if we didn't bug them. Liar.
That's what they were supposed to do.
Something's not right here. I sense something. Something terribly ominous.
Stay alert.
Because, we can never just casually walk through a cave filled with dead bodies and evil. As much as we would even want to. Kill me later. Alright, well, we gotta deal with these guys. And obviously, you can kind of see the real bad thing in the back there, the Dark Sorcerer. But we do have a lot of enemies that we's got to get through. They are wind, so we will use flare to knock them down to size. Get some. One down. Another down. You'll notice that the Dark Sorcerer in the back there he's taking whatever he's casting is probably pretty nasty, so we probably don't want to be hit by it for obvious reasons. Turn that down a little bit more. Here we go. I believe that's actually all of them, except one. So we'll just gang up on that one. And whatever we could use on the Dark Sorcerer, we'll use rather quickly here. So let's use Aqua. Urqua. Son of a bitch. It looks like one caster will get a turn in before the enemy does. Look, we couldn't kill him with one hit. Okay, so that really doesn't help us here. He's so resistant that it doesn't do that much damage. Melee attack probably would have been more effective. So, Sarah levels, and we move on. Yay.
Alright, who said they wouldn't attack? Because it wasn't me!
Some mysterious power was driving them, making them attack us. Didn't you feel it? But why?
Because why not?
It must be magic energy.
You mean Gangora?
Not necessarily. Couldn't it be that this world's natural magic energy is having some kind of effect?
Nah, it's probably Gongora. He is a big asshole. And give it a goods. Stone Beast Thorn, yay. Head this way. Ooh, Well, if we go this way, there's that, and we have to kind of wait. Or we get thrown into a forced fight, forced battle, which,
This does not
You
look
don't say there, boyo. You don't say there. And it looks like we got a lot of sorcerers. And that dude. Okay, but these guys are in the front row, which means they're ripe for the murdering. I'm just trying to think the best way to handle this. Let's do it like so. He's Earth, so let's use... Shut up. That enemy gets annoying. As you can clearly see. Nice. Now we could use stronger magic, but I'm trying to avoid doing that if possible. Get some. Get some. And they're toast.
What a waste of time.
And Sarah learns some skills, and then we're obviously going to move her to something else. Right now I have her learning Black Mage staves, not that that's a staff, not that that's a skill that I'm that worried about, but eh. I have another one that's only 8 or 5. Sure, why not? Okay. There we go. And we goddess medicine. Now we gotta head back the way we came. And then, whoop, let's go. Let's just do this. Get this over with now, because I know that's here. And I know you guys would like to get through it as well. Trust me. Kyle recalls a memory that was locked deep within his heart. Oh no, not one of these! Oh! A dream has been revealed. Oh boy.
The tragedy of the Butcher General. Everyone knows this general as the Butcher. He is strong in battle, a skilled tactician. He has mastered the techniques of turning the specifics of topography and timing to his advantage. And he is outstanding, above all, in the skills of an individual warrior. Victory on the battlefield, however, does not lead straight to butchery. Many generals have been nicknamed for their military prowess. The victorious, the indomitable, the invincible. But only one is known as the Butcher. Do you know why that is, Kaim? The general himself asks as he gloats over the vast mountain of corpses. Kaim does not reply. He entered the fray as a mercenary, but his exploits far outclassed those of the regular troops. For the general to call a man into his presence and speak to him face to face is apparently an honor, beyond even most officers' wildest dreams. Not just from winning battles, the general goes on. That would be too simple. Just kill the enemy general, take the big one's head, and the battle's over, right? Kaim nods in silence. That is how this battle should have ended instead of continuing for 3 days. The enemy general proposed a surrender on the first day. He offered his head in exchange for the lives of his men and the villagers. But the Butcher rejected the offer and continued his all-out attack on an enemy that had lost the will to fight, annihilating them in the process. The last day was used to burn down the forest into which the unresisting villagers had fled. The real battle doesn't end when you raise the victory song on the battlefield. If even one person survives, the seed of hatred lives on. I'm talking about the desire for revenge. Nothing good can come from leaving that behind. You must cut the cause of future troubles at the root. This is why the troops under the general's command killed the young men of the village after they were through exterminating the enemy troops. They also killed the unarmed old people. They killed mothers fleeing with children in their arms. They killed the children they stripped from their mothers' corpses. Do you think me cruel, Kaim? I do, Kaim answered, nodding. The officers gathered around them went pale, but the Butcher himself smiled magnanimously and went on. You didn't do any of those things, I gather. My job is to kill soldiers on the battlefield. My contract doesn't call for anything else. And I'm saying that that is a foolish line of thinking. The soldiers you killed have brothers and children. Do you plan to go on living in fear of their revenge? That is sheer stupidity. If you wipe out the entire family, you can live without such worries, you see. The general laughs uproariously, and the surrounding officers all smile in response. Kaim, however, his expression unchanged, starts to walk away. Where are you going, Kaim? We are through talking, aren't we? My contract has ended. Never mind that, just wait. When the general says this, several soldiers stand to block Kaim's way. Listen, Kaim, I have heard reports of your performance from the front lines. What do you say to fighting under me from now on? You can exploit your martial talents to the full. I am not interested. What's that? I will never draw my sword on an unarmed opponent. Butcher is momentarily taken aback. the shock written clearly on his face. You still don't understand, do you? You should try reading a little history. You'll find that hatred only breeds more hatred. This is what inevitability brings down even the most prosperous nations of power. Which is why I make absolutely sure to sever it at the root. If you ask me, General, war and butchery are two different things. What are you? The same goes for valor and brutality. You, a lowly mercenary, dare to lecture me? Let me tell you something about hatred too, General. It doesn't evaporate from cutting off a life. It remains in the earth, in the clouds, in the wind. I've lived my life in that belief, and I intend to go on doing so. You stupid. Butchery is the work of cowards. That is what I believe. Where do you get the general glares at Kaim, and his men draw their swords? At that very moment, from within the scorched forest come the cries of soldiers. Here are some 5 of them still left. No, 6. Over there. They went that way. Distracted by the shouts, the general commands his men. Hurry, capture them. Don't let even one of them get away. Hurry, hurry. You can't let them escape. The men blocking Kaim begin to fidget, and none of them thinks to stop him as he calmly walks away. Do you hear me? You must not let them escape. If even one of them gets away, I'll have your heads, all of you. The general's calls are clearly those of a coward. The butcher presided over many battles after that, and he burned countless villages to the ground, butchering all of their inhabitants. Then one night something happened. The general felt a strange itching sensation on the back of his hand. It was different from an ordinary insect bite or skin eruption. It was deeper down and felt like a kind of squirming. This is odd. He clawed at his skin, but the itch would not subside. It was very strange. There was no redness or swelling or sign of a rash. Maybe I touched a poisonous moth. The general had burnt yet another village to the ground that day. Surrounded by beautiful countryside, the village in times of peace had been extolled as the flowering hamlet. In keeping with the name, the villagers poured their energies into cultivating flowers of many hues, and the ones in full bloom in this particular season had the color of the setting sun. Indeed, the entire village looked as if it had been dyed the color of a beautiful afterglow. This was the village that the general burned down with flames far redder than any sunset. The villagers who ran in circles begging for their lives, he killed one at a time. Far redder than the sunset, far redder than the flames, was the blood that soaked into the earth.
I've not read one of these in a while.
But this is how it always is. I didn't do anything special today. Shaking the hand that refused to stop itching, the general took a swallow of liquor. And in that moment it happened. Tearing through the skin of the back of his hand, a number of small grain-like things emerged from within. No blood flowed, and no pain accompanied them. Exactly the way plants sprout from the earth. No, the thing that covered over the back of his hand before his very eyes were unmistakably plant sprouts. Horrified, the general took a razor to the back of his hand and tried to shave the thing off. When the blade came into contact with them, however, they gave off the sound of human moans. Sounds exactly like the moans of humans dying in agony, as his entire body is slashed by swords. Or like the moans of a person who is being burned alive. Shut up, damn you! Shut up, you hellish! Holding the razor in one hand to shave the other, he could not cover his ears. His body was soaked in a greasy sweat by the time he succeeded in shaving the horrible things from the back of his hand. To salve his own anger, he shouted for the men who were supposed to be guarding him. "Where the hell have you been, sir? You should have come running when you heard unusual voices coming from my tent. It is your job as my guards." The guards gave each other a puzzled look, and the first replied hesitantly to the general, "Forgive me, sir. We were standing just outside the entrance, but we never heard any such." The general glared at his guards, enraged, but after struggling to keep his welling anger in check, he shouted, "Never mind then, get out." He was too upset to waste time on subordinates. Almost immediately the itching attacked the back of his hand again, but this time it was not limited to his hand. His flanks, his shoulders, his buttocks, behind his knees, his whole body started to itch. Alone again, the general tore off his night clothes and inspected his entire body in the moonlight, sipping through the roof of the tent. The things were sprouting from everywhere now, and some even had leaves beginning to grow on them. The general raised a soundless scream and began wildly attacking the growths wherever he could reach them. Each one he cut from his body released a horrible moan. Horrible, horrible, horrible. His bedsheets turned green before his eyes, and soon the numerous sprouts were transformed into numerous human corpses. They covered not only his bed, but the whole earth, before they melted into the darkness of the night and vanished. One sleepless night followed another in endless succession. The horrible things kept sprouting from his skin, however much he cut them off. Ointment had no effect. He tried taking every poison-quelling tablet he could get his hands on, but nothing worked. He could not speak of his troubles to his subordinates. If a rumor spread that a strange plant was sprouting from the butcher's body, it would embolden his enemies and discourage his allies. One of his subordinates might even try to take his head at night. His cowardice had earned him the name of the Butcher, and that same cowardice is what turned the general into a lonely, isolated man. He had no one he could tell about this. Each night the general would wage his lonely battle, though perhaps it could not be called a battle precisely. The things merely sprouted from his body and put up no resistance. When he took the razor to them, they would simply moan and fall away. What the general was engaged in on his own was less a battle than lonely butchery. Several more nights went by. The sprouting continued with undiminished force. The single fortunate aspect, perhaps, was that the things only sprouted in places on his body where the general could reach with his razor. This could as well have been a curse, however. The general had no choice but to go on shaving the things precisely because he could not reach them. Precisely because he was able to perform the butchery by himself. He could not call for help. His lonely butchery continued, his sleepless nights continued, the general's flesh wasted away. Why is this happening? The general asked himself. Why did this have to happen to me? This is a time of war. I am here on the battlefield. I have to kill the enemy in order to survive. In order to give myself future peace of mind, I have to kill them all. Both armed and unarmed. It is simple common sense. The general all but spit out the words. All I have done is the sensible thing in the most sensible way. This night again the sprouts emerged from his body. This night again this general had to shave them off. Again the countless moans, again the countless bodies. Again he heard the cock crow to announce the end of night. Again the general passed the night without the comfort of sleep. The general's body, once superbly conditioned on the battlefield, withered away before his eyes. But more than his body, his mind became unstable. He spent his day sprawled on his bed. Eyes opened or closed, he would see images of his past scenes of butchery. Now he began to recall the words of a skilled but insolent mercenary. Hatred doesn't evaporate from cutting off a life. It remains in the earth, in the clouds, in the wind. The general wanted to see that man again, to see him and ask him again. Have I been wrong all these years? The man himself, a man of few words, would probably not answer his question. Still, the general wanted to see him again, that mercenary, that Kime fellow. The sun went down. The night gradually deepened. As always, the itching started and the plants began to sprout. But the general, grasping the razor in fingers that now looked like withered branches, no longer had the strength to shave them off. His back began to itch. This was the first time the things had sprouted somewhere, a place beyond his reach. As if they had been waiting for this opportune moment. Sprawled on his bed, the general let the razor drop from his hand. Enough! I don't care anymore! The sprouts kept growing, creeping over him, and before long they had covered him completely. At that point, his back split open and an unusually large sprout emerged. By dawn, the sprout had fully matured, and before the cock crowed, it produced a single blossom the color of an evening afterglow. Many long years have passed. Visiting the old battlefield, Kime finds a flower garden there. Blooming in profusion are flowers of clearly different shape and color than the ones along its border. Beside the garden stands a stone monument inscribed with the garden's history. In this place, a great general met his end. He was known as the Butcher. He died suddenly one night, and from his body grew many flowering plants. These were evening flowers, a blossom unique to a village the general had burnt to the ground. An ancient legend tells us that the seeds of the evening flower lodge into the bodies of those who nourish hatred in their breasts, and the roots of the plant feed the flowers with the person's flesh. The garden's flowers, the color of the setting sun, sway in the gentle breeze. Kime stands there for a time, gazing at the countless flowers given birth by hatred, before walking on in silence. It is said that in the very center of the garden lies a disintegrated suit of armor, but no one has ever found it.
So there it is. Oh boy, one of those stories, huh? It's to me world building, and for one little criticism might be you live in a world with a fantasy. You might assume that they're burning everything to the ground might actually hurt you in some way, even if it's lung cancer. From all the smoke you'd be unnecessarily breathing in from burning all these places to the ground, right? So, what do I know, though? It just seems like such a massive thing, you know. But yeah, anyway, who wouldn't think there'd be negative ramifications if you can have spirits that haunt forests? Well, then maybe he didn't know that at the time. Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's a good story, though, nonetheless.
Enjoyed it quite nicely.
Ooh, let's do that. Could go for something a little bigger, couldn't we? Have a Quara. And Winda. See how it goes. No. And uh-oh, Mac is confused. We'll have to deal with that as we can. And they just counterattack you with whatever you use on them. Okay. Luckily, our casters are relatively resistant, but we'll have to keep that in mind. Down. Really? You gonna miss that twice there, buddy? Killing me, Smalls. I know neither of them are gonna kill it. Get some. Wow, everybody's missing today. What is this thing? The Neo? Is this the Matrix and that thing's Neo? Come on. Somebody's got to hit it. Somebody finally hit it. Just in case. That's getting absurd. There we go. Maybe a first round I missed it buff itself or something, but I don't remember seeing it do that.
It's not in my nature to lose.
All I recollect was just people missing left and right. And Sarah learns Spirit Magic. Let's change out the accessory. That's actually a good deal. So we'll head down. And we get a delicious seed. Let's move on. Alright, so let's do it. What's that thing? It's all lit up. Oh, that's a firefly. Those are pretty rare. There's a kind of insect that lights up the dark. If you're gentle to them, they can be used as light. I'm not so sure about this. Oh, stop being such a wimp. Here, put one on your shoulder. See? It'll stay there. With a cave like this, you never know where pitfalls might be. It could be pretty dangerous, so we need to protect our light sources. Not gonna Gandalf your way through this, are you? All right, so so it's very particular with where we can move and whatnot. So, all right, let's go ahead and move, shall we? So we could do something like this. We lose the source of light. But we can grab that. So wind can get rid of it. The liquid, I believe, if we don't move through it quickly, will also get rid of it as well. And you kind of want to have it. Trust me here. And you don't really necessarily want to run through here. For any prolonged... It'll make sense as we move why you don't want to run too quickly. Now, you notice I'm using the camera as best as I can. To kind of help me see where I'm going here. Unless we get in a fight. And here we go. Another one of these. No element relation there. We'll just flare we'll do multiple flares just to be safe. to you. Death to you. And they're toast. And then we're gonna wail on the big guy. We don't need to spend a lot offensively to do damage, I would say. I'm just hoping Matt gets some good damage. There it is. Getting sweet.
I wish I was stronger.
And Seth learned level 7 black magic. Sarah learned turn tail. I think Kimes learned everything relevant, but we'll take a look. And when I say relevant, I mean relevant in the sense that everything else is just secondary crap. There to take up time and space. We'll just have him learn, yeah. Let's just have him learn things to learn things. At this point. Seth learned level 7 black magic. Could pick up level 8 white from Cook, but Cook's not in the party. Spirit magic would be good. So let's grab that while she's in the group. Sarah is still working on Blackstaff, but she's done with that. And we'll do these, and that should be... That's pretty much it, I think, for accessories. Because I think all the characters are wearing other things right now that are more beneficial to them directly. And it's stuff that the characters can learn without the items to do it, I would think. So, I'm not going to worry about it too much more than that. Alright, let me think here. Pretty sure we can head over that way to get to where we want to go. As we are thrown into another battle. Okay. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's do something a little more productive here. Hey. And if you kill it, it doesn't get its counterattack. So that's going to change our strategies up for quite a while going forward. In a good way, too, mind you. Not that fighting these enemies is too difficult. Okay, let's keep moving. Can't reach that right now. We're thrown in another freaking battle.
Oh yeah! Let's get it on!
Shut up, Jensen. Let's fight again. Alright. There we go. down. Should only be one of them left. Come on, man. Not this garbage again. There we go. I was gonna say.
Wow, have you fallen for me yet?
And Sarah learns everything. Kym learns spirit magic. Cool. Let's go ahead and... So at this point, Sarah can't learn any new goodies, so... Let's remove those for now. Kym can learn something new. We'll just go and work on max skill set as far as I'm concerned. Black Staff is done for Jensen, so really... What could she learn from Mac or Jensen that would be worth it? Becomes the question. All of this stuff's not worth it for her to learn. We'll probably teach it to her at some point just for the sake of teaching it. Oops. Just for the sake of teaching it to her. Because, yeah, why not? But I think Jensen's going to be the more useful person to learn stuff from. Let's go with just Absorb Transfer. Okay. We'll grab this for the power drink. Let's keep moving forward, shall we? Don't worry about that other chest. We can't reach it yet, so don't bother putting too much thought into it.
Guess we have no choice.
As we are thrown in another battle.
Counter level in this dungeon is a lot higher than some of the other ones. Get up. As you can see, at our current status, there's not much to these battles. But even under the conditions that we are very powerful, the strategy's still mostly the same. Just use your fire magic against the flying dudes to get them out of the way as quickly as possible.
I wish I was stronger.
You wish you were stronger, but you're already just destroying everything, bro. So, let's see. Okay. You know, Jensen, if you don't want to be noticed by the horde of monsters, screaming is probably not the suggested concept or strategy or thing to do. However you want to decide. Scroll of Dissection, which anybody could equip at this point. We'll just put it on Sarah for now, because why not? Inflicts damage on enemy front row and reduces CG. Actually, no. We're going to put that on our offensive characters for the time being. Thank you very much. Rather have access to it that way. Okay, so now here's where the Firefly is the most important. So you'll notice something very clearly. I am walking. We are gonna, and that's why. This is why we walk through here. As there are pitfalls everywhere. And as you can see, I'm using the camera to help guide me to where goodies are, which is really the right way to do this. Alright, so we're in trouble. We either go through the wind and lose the light, or we tread a more dangerous path. Oh boy. Can I zoom out here? Again, we're not taking any chances. Now, we don't have a choice here. Want to get this. You want to get this. Obvious reason. Now, yeah. So we are sans our ferry here. For good measure. Carefully navigate where we're going. All right. Whee! And sweet. Now, here's the deal. We can this is back to the first area of the dungeon. Right, so we now can travel between the floor with the pitfalls. Let me zoom out so you can see it. This is where we were when we first were introduced to the Fireflies. So we now have a means to more safely traverse this nightmare cave area. So let's grab this. Because we're looking for a specific one. You can see I'm doing something very specific here. So this is an interesting area of importance. We want to go into, I believe it's this one. It's either this one or the one below it, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. And there it is. This is the only way you can get this. So, yeah. And because we opened the route back, jump. There we go. There we go. We can make it our way back. Whew. It's not an easy dungeon, per se. Not really. Alright. So let's slowly make our way back. And I would say... be careful going this way. Now, what moves us forward, what doesn't? We'll go... Let me fix the map here. There we go. We'll go this way. We should be okay. As I go to grab something, I get thrown in a fight.
We've taken the advantage.
Alright, here we go. So, ooh, a bigger spread. More dangerous spread. Let's do it like this. Let's have them gang up on that. She can go for that. Yeah, Windus will take too long. We'll go with Winda. And why not? Let's see how this plays out. Hopefully, if both of the flies are killed, we'll be in good position. Of course not. Never gonna break. There we go. He's toast. Nice. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I forget to do it. Too busy watching the animation. Trying to enjoy the animation. Do 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 do.
Friends give me strength.
And absorb transfer is learned. Let's have her learn something else. You know what? Learn steel. And we get blinding powder. Yay! Now we're not out of the woods yet. Come on, get unstuck, fool. Believe there's like a little one. I thought there was one that sneaks up on you up here somewhere. That's why I'm running in spurts. Oh, no, maybe not. We'll just stay to the side of the big open area, shall we? Actually, though, I think I passed something. Did I not? Oops, I'm stuck. Hold on. So busy worried about falling in a hole. Thought there was a important one here. I forget. And here's the thing, we have to get this. It's a chest, and I forget where it is exactly. And maybe in my infinite wisdom of trying to be too careful, I'm not looking in front of me in the attempt to get it. Or it was further up the path. Yep, it was further up the path. And I know it's a seed because I don't want to miss it. And I know that it's here. Alright, so anyway, this is a great place for it to stop. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JackTartStudios for more live gaming action. When we come back, we will be going deeper into the Black Cave because we're not done wandering this dump yet. Of course not. And we've got some hidden treasure to find as well as a boss fight. So you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We'll see you guys next time.